Good afternoon and welcome to the next installment of Full Court Press, where we give you an in-depth look behind the scenes of Peters Township boys basketball.
Since our last episode in February, a lot has happened with the team. They finished the regular season with a promising record, but they fell short in the WPO playoffs. Shortly after the season ended, Peters Township will go through a coaching change with Rob Zewe being named the new head coach. Last week, the team celebrated the end-of-year banquet and honored the 4-year accomplishments of seniors Dylan Donovan, Lucas Rost, and Jaden Greco.
In today's episode, titled Changing of the Guard, we will talk with the new head coach, Rob Zewe, and 3 up-and-coming juniors who will help lead the team over the next 2 seasons. I'm Joe Spergel.
And I'm Jack Zukowski. Welcome to Full Court Press. For our first interview today, we are excited to introduce and talk with new head coach Rob Zewe. For those folks in Peters Township who don't know, please tell us something about. Please tell us a little bit about you.
Yeah. First off, thank you guys for having me. Really have enjoyed the show thus far. Excited to be here. I'm originally from Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. I have a wife, her name's Jana, and 2 kids who are 3.5 and 9 months old. Their names are Monroe and Via. Prior to joining the staff here 2 years ago, I was a college basketball coach for about 8.5 years. I worked at IUP, University of Nevada, Cal State Fullerton, and the University of Denver for my previous 3 years. Long story short, my wife and I, after having kids, decided we wanted to settle down back home in Pittsburgh, where both of us are from. We bought a house in Peters Township. The stars aligned that I was able to join the staff here 2 years ago under the previous coach, and now I'm sitting here today as the head coach. So have absolutely loved the past 2 years working with our players, getting to know them, building relationships with them, the family, the community. Peters Township is a special place, and I'm very fortunate to have this opportunity to lead the program moving forward.
And as head coach, you get to select all the assistants to help you out, and we'll into the process of doing that.
Yeah, first and foremost, I'm a relationship-driven individual. So everyone who is joining the staff, I have had a prior relationship to, and I want them to be an extension of me. I'm also a high-energy guy, so I want my coaches to constantly bring energy, lead by example amongst our players. One of the first hires that I made actually was someone that I trained 11 years ago. His name is Michael Bigley. And in 2015, when I was getting into coaching, I started training, and he was in, I believe, 8th grade at the time. And, I was fortunate enough to see him go from middle school through high school. He just recently graduated college, had a really great WPO career as a high school student athlete, followed that up with a great career at Pitt Greensburg, was an AMCC Scholar Athlete of the Year this past year, but he's someone that I've known for so long, and the relationship that we have, he was the first person I thought about when I got this job. There's 3 coaches who were on the staff last year, Coach Lawrence, Coach Toohey, and Coach Monroe. All are exactly who I want in my coaching staff. They're invested in our players' well-being. They care about the players. They will always be a reflection of me and the culture that I'm bringing forward, so I'm excited to have the 3 of them coming back. I also hired Jordan Miller, who is one of the best players in PIAA history. Fun fact about Jordan, he scored over 2,000 points in high school, went on to Pitt Johnstown, and had a record-breaking career. He owns the 3-point record for all-time threes made in University of Pitt Johnstown history. He's going to be a key aspect of the player development amongst our guys. And then lastly, Coach Kyle DiGregorio, he was with us 2 years ago. He actually was my high school coach when I was playing in high school from 2007 to 2011. And he's done so much for me. And when I talk about relationships, that's another thing that I think of. Just being able to do this with him and kind of have everything come full circle is really meaningful to me. I think our staff will be one of the best staffs in the WPIAL. I'm really excited for us all to get in the gym together and really invest in our team.
Yeah. So this will be your first head coaching position. What has kind of helped you learn, and how have you developed your philosophy over the years?
Yeah, I've been very fortunate to work for some really great head coaches. My first job, I worked for Joe Lombardi, who was the head coach at IUP, and he's taken them to multiple national championship games, Final Fours. He's coached multiple championship teams in the PSAC. He was instrumental in my development as a coach from an X's and O's standpoint, but more importantly as a culture standpoint. He's been at IUP since 2006, And to have the level of success that he has had for 20 plus years is extremely impressive. He really focuses on the culture and how can he invest in the players at a high level in order for them to then trust him on the court. I also was fortunate enough to work for Eric Musselman, who's been a head coach for 2 NBA teams, took Nevada and Arkansas to multiple Sweet 16s and Elite 8 berths. He was someone who really was instrumental in me figuring out how to construct a practice, how to really get players to buy into what you're preaching on the court. And then Dedrick Taylor and Joe Ehrman the past 2 years. What Joe was able to do here at Peters over the past 6 years is unprecedented. I was fortunate enough to see a lot of the wins over the past 2. And just everywhere I've gone, it's given me little tidbits from an X's and O's standpoint to a culture standpoint to a relationship impact standpoint. And I'm really excited to blend it all together for our players here. The one thing I've learned about our players is they are hungry for more. They want to be coached. They want you to invest in them at a high level, both on and off the court, and that's exactly what me and my staff are going to do.
And obviously, you can't win without developing your players. What would your strategy be for developing these individual skills for those players?
Yeah, right now our focus is player development. I want our players to be committed to the process, and I think if you're committed to the process, winning will just be a byproduct of that. I don't want us to be results driven. Every one of our guys, as soon as I got the job, I met with them one-on-one and outlined some areas I think they did really well last year and areas to improve. So that will be the focus the rest of May, June, July, and August. And then once September comes along, we will revamp things, see what progress they made on their individual development, and then kind of reconstruct a player development program for the fall as we really move into more team development stuff.
Yeah. So what will your approach be for implementing these kind of changes, helping the boys develop this off season?
Yeah, I think, obviously every player has specific individual skills that they want to improve on. And as I'm, constructing a practice plan, I want to really focus on that because a lot of them overlap. A lot of our guards, the skills they want to improve on overlap. I think every player in the gym needs to focus on shooting. For guys even like Jake Wenzel, who's 6'8", I don't want Jake to just be down in the post working on post moves. I want him to continue to develop his shot, develop his ball handling. The more that we can really construct an overall basketball player, the better that'll help us when we get to 5-on-5 play. I challenged our guys last week, can we be the most skilled team in the WPIAL? We're not going to be the biggest, we're not going to be the strongest, we're not going to be the most athletic, but can we be the most skilled and the most connected? And I think if we are, then that gives us a chance to put ourselves in a position to win a championship.
So obviously the team is going through a lot of changes right now with new incoming freshmen and then, the seniors having to leave. But it's what is the team's current makeup and what are you excited about this current team?
Yeah. The one thing that is very clear to me when I met with all these guys one-on-one is this team is connected and they really like each other. Our rising senior and rising junior class are very close. They are friends off the court. And I think that plays into our hands because the closer a team can be off the court, that will translate to connectivity on the court. So I'm really excited about that. I want us to continue to grow on it. And I think we need to do more things outside of basketball, like the team camaraderie, the team building, the trust and relationships that these guys have within each other outside of the game of basketball is most important to me. We'll go to Topgolf. We'll have team dinners at players' houses. We potentially might go to a Pirate game this summer. Those things just build relationships and strengthen them. We already have a good foundation, but the more we can strengthen it and allow our team to be connected, that's what you're going to see on the court. I really reference to our guys, we lost in a game to Hampton in the playoffs last year. Credit to Hampton, they played an unbelievable game, but what stood out most is that those guys were connected and they cared about each other. They were playing for the person next to them, and I think that's ultimately what led to them upsetting us. I challenge our guys that we need to be the most connected team. We need to play for each other, and if we do, then that puts us in a position to hopefully win a championship come next spring.
Yeah, with building these relationships, I think there comes a lot of new ideas, a lot of new traditions, and we've heard some players talking about a little birthday locker room celebration. Is that something you can tell us a little bit about?
Yeah, so it was something actually in my first job we implemented it when I was at IUP. I think every player needs to be recognized for their birthday. I think it's a big deal, and our guys are naturally maybe shyer people. So I challenge them to get outside of their comfort zone. So for everyone's birthday, I go and I buy them a cake. And in order for them to get the cake, we play a song on the speaker and they have to dance in the circle. So, your guy Bear, like he will have to break it down if he wants to get the cake, this year. So it's just something to recognize these players, lighten the mood. At the end of the day, all of these guys started playing basketball because it's fun, right? So I don't want it just to be, we're working, we're doing the same drills over and over again. I want to find ways to really lighten the mood, make it fun, have guys laugh. So I think it's really important. It's a small thing that I think goes a long way. So I don't know whose next birthday is coming up, but they're work on your dance moves now because it's the tradition is going to continue.
And obviously this community and high school is so excited for you as being their new basketball head coach. What's your message to these students in the community of Peters Township?
Yeah, similar to how I want our players to be connected, I want us to be connected to the community. Our players, you will see our players at boys and girls volleyball games, girls and boys soccer games, at the football games. We are going to support all the other programs, and in turn, hopefully we can get them to come to our games in the winter. I keep telling our guys that we need to show support for them if we want it in return. As it pertains to the community, I want our guys to be role models in it. Every time they walk outside, they are role models in the community, especially to the younger basketball players. We're going to go to the youth basketball games for the PTBBA. We're going to show up for the middle school kids. I want every youth basketball player in the program to know who I am, know who my coaching staff is, and know all of our players by names. I think we have such high character kids who chase excellence in everything they do, both on and off the court, and I want them to be showcased amongst the young players in the community so they have someone to look up to.
Yeah, so thank you so much, Coach, for coming out and answering these questions. Good luck onto the season, and good luck to your players. All right, next we will talk with 3 student athletes finishing their sophomore years with promising basketball futures in front of them. Our first junior basketball player is Bryan Devine. Bryan, welcome. So my first question here for you today is, what specific skills are you focused on improving this offseason?
Yeah, so this offseason I'm mainly focused on improving my jump shot, trying to get my fundamentals down better, get it more consistent, get my shot off quicker, and get my feet, everything better so I can get my shot off faster.
Is there anything you can tell us about your AAU basketball team?
Yeah, so I play for Cavemen. It's a team located in the North Hills, and the team's people are from all over. We got kids from Newcastle, Central, and it's just a big group of kids, but we play pretty good. We just had a tournament last weekend.
Mm-hmm. And what are your personal goals this off season in preparation for your basketball season, your junior year?
I'd like to keep working on my skills, ball handling, shooting, of course, but one of my big focuses is staying in the gym, keep getting stronger so I can play at the next level.
Yeah. And what are some ways that you're going to focus on staying motivated to get to that level?
Well, I play basketball because I enjoy it. It's fun. It's what I like to do. So just playing AAU, going to open gyms, going to practices, playing with my friends, that's my motivation. So I can just keep playing next year.
And during your sophomore year, you definitely learned a lot of lessons. And how will you take these lessons and implement them into your junior year?
So one big lesson I learned, shout out to Coach Tui, was that rebounding, it's not a skill, it's effort. So I'm going to take that in this year or next year. For rebounding, I'm just going to give 100%, go for every rebound. Doesn't matter if people are bigger than me, it's an effort thing, not a skill.
So we're talking a lot about next year right now, but this year and maybe last year, who's been a senior that was a pretty important mentor for you, helped you help your game out?
I think all the seniors have done their own part in being a mentor to me, but I think a specific senior I could give a shout out to is Cam Kirch. I think he was in a lot of the same positions I was in, playing with JV varsity his sophomore year, bouncing back, and he also we'd go to the rec center on the weekends, and I couldn't drive yet, so he'd give me rides. So that was good. We can get working together.
And that's pretty cool. When you aren't playing basketball this off season, is there anything other stuff you do with your teammates?
Yeah, we all like to go to the rec center and get some food afterwards. That's always fun. I also like to golf. Anybody who golfs, and go fishing with the teammates. Just build that team chemistry off the court.
All right. Well, Bryan, thank you so much for coming on the show.
Thank you.
And really good luck next season. I hope you do well. So next up, we're going to have our next player, Daniel Dudek. Welcome back, everyone. Next up, we have our next up-and-coming junior, Daniel Dudek. Dan, thanks for coming on the show. What is some specific skills that you're focusing on improving for this year?
I'm just trying to stay in the gym, work on my shot like Bryan said he is. Trying to work on my ball handling a lot too, get stronger, faster, and like just speed and agility and all the little things.
Could you tell us about your AAU basketball team that you're playing on this offseason?
I play for Team Wildcat. It's a 16U group, HGSL circuit, so it's hoop groups like all around like other states and stuff. A couple kids from outside the city and in the city and that type of stuff.
Yeah. You have a lot of personal goals this offseason, stuff to improve?
Yeah, a lot of my personal goals are just like I said, get stronger, work on my jump shot. But one of my bigger goals is like as a team, like stay bonded and connected and get into the gym together and do stuff outside of basketball.
And how do you stay motivated to keep like working on your craft and get into the gym?
I love basketball. I mean, it's like my favorite thing to do. It's like I'm always motivated. I always love being in the gym.
Yeah. Do you have some lessons from this season that you learned and now you're gonna apply to this upcoming season? Maybe be a little stronger.
Yeah, I mean, we suffered a couple of tough losses, like at the buzzer home against TJ. I mean, you just have to like keep your head up and get to the next game, and the mistakes you just have to let them go. Next play.
Yeah.
This team was led by the three seniors of Jaden, Lucas, and Dylan. Any of those help you out, being mentor to you during the off season or during the season at all?
Yeah, I mean, Dylan, Jaden, and Russ were all like great leaders on the court and off the court. I mean, they all helped like in each different ways, like all just amazing leaders. Pretty
nice. So, past basketball, what are some other things you guys get up to in the off season?
Like Bryan said, we're at the rec center, going to Chipotle after, going golfing, fishing, just like hanging out. We went to Topgolf. It was all fun.
Yeah,
nice.
Sounds nice. You have a lot of like common interests with like the rest of your team. Definitely helps like building the skills and bonding. And so thank you so much, Dan, for coming out and giving us your answers. Good luck next year. Mm-hmm. And now to our final junior, we'll go to Will Garin. Our last player today is Will Garin. Will, thank you for coming on the show with us. So, Will, my first question is, what specific skills are you looking to improve on during this off season?
So this off season, I'm going to be working on a lot of catch and shoot threes. Players like myself are going to have ourselves in some opportunities to be shooting wide open threes this year. So we need to be able to get that shot down.
Yeah. Is there anything you can tell us about your AAU basketball team?
Yeah, I play with Caveman. I also play with Brian, who was in here earlier. We're located in the South Hills. We play a lot of local tournaments. We just came back from Spooky Nook in Lancaster. It's a lot of fun.
Nice.
So what are your personal goals yourself for this off season?
I'm going to be working on a lot of the little things. I'm going to be getting stronger because that's a big part of the game. Like I said, threes, very important. That's where most people find themselves in today's game. Just little things like that.
Yeah. How do you plan to stay motivated to achieve these goals this offseason?
Yeah, so last year I played on JV, and my goals for this year were to be a big contributor to varsity. So I'm need to be able to put in that work a lot more this offseason to earn my spot on the team.
Mm-hmm. And what lessons did you learn from playing in JV and practicing with the entire team that you think that could apply to your upcoming season?
Yeah, definitely. So I saw things like everyone thinks it's all about like skill development and stuff, but there's a lot of little things you can work on. Like it's all about effort, to be honest. You need to be able to get those 50-50 balls and be a big contributor on the court with those little details and skills.
Seniors were a big part of the team this year, as they always are. And what was like one way that they were pretty good at being a good influence on the team, or like a good mentor?
Yeah, so pretty much all of them, they were always very uplifting and encouraging. Even if you made a mistake, they'd make sure that you were on to the next play, things like that. Some were really helpful on and off the court, and yeah, they were just all in different ways pretty influential.
We talk about team bonding a lot. Is there anything you do outside of basketball in the off season or during the season with other teammates or just by yourself?
I mean, all the time. We have a couple group chats where we like to text each other, go play basketball, or things like outside, fishing, like they said, golfing. We love to have fun like that.
Mm-hmm. Nice. So thank you so much, Will, for coming on the show with us and answering our questions. Good luck in the season, just much. And looks like Peters Township basketball is in good hands for the future With a mix of good returning players and a new coach, the energy should be high both on and off the court.
Please tune in for next season for more exciting episodes of the new look into Peters Township's boys basketball team. We have enjoyed broadcasting the games this past couple of years and conducting these interviews and wish the program the best of luck next season. I am Jack Zukowski.
And I'm Joe Spergel. This has been the Full Court Press.